Hi friends, today I am going over my 4 play materials that I have created. I plan on donating them to Gift Hill School on St. John in the Virgin Islands, where I lived for 24 years and raised my child. I have a lot of connections still there, so I'm going to connect with them and make sure that they are in fact accepting donations and they're interested in my play materials before I send them off. The first one I have is a rain stick that I made out of a paper towel holder, thumbtacks, rice, packaging tape, and this synthetic leather material I was lucky enough to come across for free, which we love. So the first activity is the teacher could sit in circle with the children, explain what this is, and pass it around while they sing a song or have music playing. And so you just shake it, you can turn it upside down, hopefully you can hear the sound. And then the second activity would be to get the children to actually make these themselves. Not every class is going to have this cool synthetic leather. You can just use construction paper and have the children paint them or use markers or color or however you want to do them up. I just have this ends with like 4 layers of good packaging tape so that they won't, I mean, I guess if they really try, they could break it, but me holding it pretty sturdy does not break it. All right, so that's my number 1 material. And this falls in the category of music and art and literacy. They will also come under the guidelines found on page 14 in the New Hampshire Early Learning Standards, going to circle every day and exploring the musical instrument as well as participating in making the rain sticks. Page 31, cognitive development, physical world. Ask many questions about the physical world and investigate with adult guidance. All right, so that's our rain stick. Super cheap and easy to make. Make these with your kids. The next thing, roll the dice. I took an empty tea box, cut it down, folded it around, and used tape and markers, and I put numbers and shapes and letters and things to do with this. You can take this many different ways. Oh, that's upside down. Sorry, that's 3s. Okay, so my roll the dice. My materials were an empty tea box, plain brown paper, markers, and packaging tape. You can do a bazillion activities with this one thing or any other dice that you might come across. The first one that I was thinking was you would just have the child roll it. Whatever they landed on, they would do that activity. This one just says jump. This number 5 says 5 air high five, so the kids could just air high five each other. The next activity that you do is have a whiteboard or some kind of recording device, piece of paper, whatever. Have one child roll it, get the number, have another child roll it, get another number, write the number along with the dots that represent that number, and then have them add those together. It's a really good idea to get math going as quickly as possible, even if they're 3 years old. And so this one, I feel, falls under math and science and the outdoor environment. The other suggestion for this one would be to take it outside and to count things that you can find outside using the numbers. You can also do everything I just said outside. Just bring a piece of paper with you. And then, for example, you can roll the number 4 and then have the children find 4 trees or 4 cars or 4 clouds or whatever you might have outside. So this one is calling roll the die. Die is a singular for dice, if you did not know that. The next one that I made is called Sensory Shapes Matching Game. So I was lucky enough to come across these sheets of synthetic leather, and I found 2 that were similar but different. So I took these 2 sheets. It doesn't really matter which side that is. So these are a pair, and these can also be home base if you decide to create a game with it. I have 2 triangles that are different on the front, but the same on the back. You can have the child turn everything upside down and pair up the shapes that go with each other. The other thing that you can do is you can just have the child lay out the sensory shapes and they can make up their own uses for it. One of the shapes has some fringe on it. So a child might come up with a creative way to use that as something different. Another one of the shapes, again, 2 different patterns. I cut some lines in them so the child can manipulate it and play with it and maybe try to stick one inside the other or whatever they might decide to do. You could also have them collect all the ones that are this shape, this pattern, and put them on this pattern, and then have them collect all the ones that are this pattern and put it with its bigger one. So again, this game, you could make a bunch of different games out of it. But I felt that it came under sensory, loose parts, literacy, and dramatic play. Page 34, New Hampshire Learning Standards. Use variation on previous action in new environments and with different objects to create new and desired effects. And then also on page 31, play simple memory games in the cognitive development section, key concepts. So my 4th play material that I created was taking some fake leaves, like so, and then separating the colors into 3 different categories. I have this food container I got at TJ Maxx, food preparation, but you can use them for toys, and they're really great for crafts, especially since you can see through them. So the child doesn't have to open up a bunch of boxes to find what they're looking for. They can just see what's going on there. So for this one, I thought you could have the child dump everything out and then have them try to build with them, try to stack them up. Now they're fake, probably imitation silk leaves, so they're not going to stack very high. So it'll be a good way to show the children that not everything can stack like a block, but there are other ways to manipulate this. One of the ways being is you can make a mound instead of a stack. You could also get a ruler involved and have them measure how high they can get them and just make a tally and record it for them. It's really fun to do little science projects that do with math and measuring. So my other activity would be to discuss what it means when the leaves change in America. I'm going to send this to the Virgin Islands. So the Virgin Islands has its own seasons, if you will. They're not as extreme as the seasons we have here in New England. They will have leaves change or certain plants blossom or bring fruit at different times. Some of the trees will go through a similar transition, but not as prevalent as it is here. So just discussing why the leaves change, showing them pictures of New England and other parts of the world where leaves change would be a good way to explore their environment and the world around them. So this one I felt came under loose parts, manipulative, sensory, math, and science. Page 27, cognitive development, recognizing or creating planned or random repetition and comparisons, extend simple patterns. So you can make a pattern out of the leaves. Do a yellow, do an orange, do a dark color. And then the other one that this would come under would be to the language development and emergence literacy, strands and concept, verbal expressions, and vocabulary development. And you can continue to build their vocabulary by using more descriptive words. So that is my project. These are all safe for a 3-year-old classroom with supervision, of course. And I hope that you guys use my ideas. Thank you so much.